What's the dumbest thing you've ever heard confidently come out of someone's mouth? In our 20s, a group of us were chatting, and somehow, the topic of ethnicity came up. Some of us said our ancestors were from Ireland or Germany or whatever. This one guy said that his were from Texas. We laughed, thought he was joking, and prodded, "We mean for real. Where did your ancestors come from?" He honestly didn't understand that his very white self, not Native American with an English surname, came from people from Europe at one time. He obviously never made the connection back in school about the Pilgrims and later Western expansion and immigrants. On St. Lucia, which is one of the most beautiful islands anywhere, and the ugly American honeymoon couple by the gorgeous pool were complaining about this hellhole of an island. They clearly did not understand about island life. Then the stupid guys inspecting the extensive library at the pool and declared that all libraries need a Bible. I choked and threw up in my mouth a little. Pretty soon the guy was trying to catch the geckos instead of realizing that they keep the mosquitoes down, so I told him they bite. They do not. On a road trip with some friends once, pull over for food, and there was a Panda Express and a McDonald's next to each other. My finances were a bit tight at the time, and I had a coupon, so I went to McDonald's while the others went to Panda Express. We all get back in the car, and my friend, whose plate is loaded with orange chicken and noodles, starts making comments about how much healthier his meal is, which, maybe it is, but I strongly doubt it was that much healthier to be pulling out the soapbox. My roommate and I, along with some guests, were having a discussion about the impact of humanity, and he said with full confidence that cancer was entirely a modern, man-made phenomenon. I told him that radon gas has been seeping out of the ground and is the two leading cause of lung cancer as long as the earth has been turning. I suppose he didn't consider our life-giving sun as a possible source for cancer-inducing radiation when he formulated his statement. My ex and I had his parents over for dinner one night, and we were making tacos. His mum asked what kind of tacos, chicken or meat. I'm an asshole, so I was like, chicken is meat. And she goes, well, yeah, technically. But you know how when people say meat, they mean like cows. So I just meant that. And I said no, when people say meat, they mean meat. She stopped talking. Anyway, him and I broke up. Thank God. That woman was dumb as hell. Japanese and Native American written languages are the same. The guy was a real trailblazer of this kind of confident nonsense. But that one really took the cake. It really made me wonder whether he was actually this dumb, or just seeing what he could get people to believe. Our group knew he came out with ridiculous stuff all the time though. So if it went unchallenged, it certainly wasn't because anyone believed it. That's not how EV vehicles work. You are completely wrong. He was a software engineer for Android. I am an EV field service engineer. Another Android software engineer telling me that Android doesn't have hard cap-on contacts. His car audio. That's stupid fakes. Write new software. Android is superior. Give me access to rewrite this software. It was physical limitation, not software could not understand. In 8th grade, we were doing a walk-through tour of the sister high school the majority of students would be attending the next year. We walked into the wood shop, sawdust all over the place. A big bundle of to buy from one side of the room. Plenty of table saws plainly visible. This girl in my class says it smells like wood in here. I still remember that 20 years later. I was a grocery cashier in a college town. Early in a semester, I noticed a wave of sorority girls buying huge containers of bulk honey. I finally asked, so what are you doing with all this honey? The answer was, oh my God, it's the best. I've never even heard of local honey. It wasn't local, it was local. They all gained a bit of weight before realizing their mistake. Had a college professor in the 2-year technical programs state that nuclear power plants operate by capturing the electrons emitted from the reaction, then quite forcefully said, I had no idea what I was talking about when I suggested that they actually just heat water to turn a steam turbine. Apparently my silly idea was just way too inefficient for practical use. Was actually something I said. Unfortunately, I swear I'm not an idiot at all. In high school, I went downtown for a musical with my friend, her brother, and her dad. In the winter, My city has horse-drawn carriages couples can pay to ride. I saw the horses and excited he said doggies. My brother's friend looked at me, dumbfounded, and just went, horses. I had a co-worker US who spent a couple of years in Finland doing missionary work. Asian and asked how cold it was and followed up with, isn't it partially in the Arctic Circle? The guy responded that it could be cold, but it's actually at a lower elevation than the Arctic Circle. Other guy just said, okay. I was talking to someone in my master's program and the conversation turned to her telling me she was on paleo diet or caveman diet. While she was telling me how cavemen were healthier than we are today, I prodded her with wasn't their life expectancy in like the 30s. Deadpan she replied that's because of all the predators like dinosaurs. Went on a date with a guy who told me he wanted to paint the ceiling in part of his house like the Sistine Chapel. Without any reaction. I asked him what about the 14th or 15th chapels. He replied they're okay. I just like the 16th chapel. I drank a bottle of wine, bought D batteries on the way home, and just got another car. Yeah. I should definitely record these songs for posterity. A 15-year-old wannabe songwriter whose parents spotted him $1,000 to record and press 100 copies of a CD. 93 of those CDs are still in my basement. It was me. I was a really confident 15-year-old songwriter. No. They are not good. They do not need to exist into posterity. I'm a safari guide, and I had a guest argue with me that some antelope use their horns to hunt for meat to eat, which, if you don't know much about animals, is a fair guess. But he would not let it go. He was insistent that the ADAC specifically could and would hunt other prey. Titanic Museum, at the end where there's a list of passengers' name who have perished. A teenage daughter was having a convo with her mom. Daughter, mom, I can't find Jack Dawson's name on here. Mom, yeah, that's really weird. Mom, I remember. He got his ticket from a poker game. Daughter, oh yeah. That precipitation percentage was the percentage of the surrounding area that it will rain snow, not the chance of it doing so. They told me a friend who works in the meteorological business told her. I told her that her friend was either lying to her or just wrong and begged her not to ever tell anyone what she just told me. I'm in the film business, so this film will be amazing after you've read the week's script. The investors will make so much money when the deal they've proposed makes it literally impossible to make a profit. This is just what we agreed to on the call, not remotely true. We haven't gotten paid yet. I already know you did. In my driver's ed class in high school, a girl said, I have a theory. And this guy asked her, does it hurt? And he wasn't making a joke. He was very earnest about it. I don't know what he specifically thought a theory was, but he honestly thought it was some kind of injury or illness symptom that might be painful. My mother-in-law told me if you breastfeed your son, he'll be gay. If you let your son sleep in your bed, he'll be gay. A, why would I care if he's gay? B, you say you don't care about people's sexuality and see your son, the father of my children, is bi. That has never told you specifically because of comments like that. My best friend when we were in high school asked me with a straight face if cockroaches can survive a nuclear blast. Why don't they just make a coat out of cockroaches? I cried from laughing. Another time she wrote macaroni salad on my shopping list. Dumbest and sweetest person I have ever met. I miss her every day. COVID vaccinations are absolutely causing a massive spike in cancer in young people, and people don't understand that Dr. Fauci is a part owner of the COVID vaccine company, so of course that's why he was pushing everyone to get vaccinated. This person has a master's degree psychology and social work. My then stepbrother and his girlfriend moved from Phoenix to move in with my dad and then stepmother. After a few days, the girlfriend lamented that she hadn't brought a radio with her from Phoenix because she missed her favorite Phoenix radio stations and wanted to listen to them here, a few states away. If we allow gay marriage, there won't be any babies being born or words to that effect, said by a conservative relative who also said mass shootings will continue until abortion is illegal. I honestly don't understand how some people can get through an average day with this little critical thinking. Myself, mistaking an Alaskan Malamute for a Siberian Husky, saying to the owner of the AM that my dog also had husky in her, or when I did the typical girl scream woohoo at a fucking death metal concert. It was my first, but still, I want to gauge out my eyes with forks when I think about it. I was a field engineer on a power plant construction project, and the site safety supervisor gave a 5-minute safety talk before the start of each day shift. One day, he talked about ladder safety and informed us that a body would reach terminal velocity by falling from a height of 6 feet. You know how 18-wheelers have their hazards on and the tracks beep when they reverse? A driver told my sister that he hit a woman that stopped behind him and didn't move. He asked why she didn't move, and she said she didn't know which way he was turning because he had both his turn lights on. A woman called me to complain that her standby generator had been running for hours. I told her that her power must be out. She said my power can't be out. The lights are on. I repeated my statement and she repeated her stupid statement. Third time around I spelled it out and she got it. Me out of my mouth to an entire group of people. My uncle fought in the Civil War. He flew the planes. I truly didn't even realize my error until they looked so confused. Only then did I realize I meant to say WWI. And that was still incorrect, as he actually served in the Vietnam War. When getting dropped off at the airport, you go through the arrival area. When getting picked up at the airport, you enter through the departure area. Her explanation is I'm arriving to the airport and departing the airport. She was 35 and had taken several flights in her time.